Hey man, I've got 4 NFL betting tips for you in week number 10. In case this is your first time watching any of my videos, welcome buddy. I'm Professor MJ and I teach statistics at a Canadian university. Are you excited to find out what my picks are this week? As you'll see in the following clip, my oldest son Maverick is pretty excited about it. Here's a pick rated 3 stars. I'm going with the Colts laying 10 points against the Miami Dolphins. When I told a friend I was thinking about picking the Colts in my survivor pool, he replied, "What? Are you sure? Even though Brissett is hurt?" Well, his reaction shows me that most people are afraid to bet Indy because of this injury, and also because of Miami's good recent performances. First, let's address the QB situation. Brissett has a sprained MCL, and the Colts might be able to get past the Dolphins with Brian Hoyer under center, but Brissett is expected to try and play. Indianapolis is pushing hard for a playoff spot, and they cannot afford to lose this game. Speaking of injuries, the betting public might underestimate the impact of the Dolphins losing 2 key pieces to their offense. Running back Mark Walton got suspended for 4 games, and the very impressive wide receiver Preston Williams is done for the year after hurting his right knee. One could argue the Colts may look past the Dolphins, since they are expecting matchups against their 3 divisional opponents over the next 3 weeks. But I could counter this argument by saying this could be viewed as a sandwich game for the Dolphins. Indeed, they played the Jets last week and they are awaiting the Bills in week number 11. I believe Miami may not play as hard now that they've earned their first win of the season. Meanwhile, the Colts are certain to give everything they've got, considering how tight the playoff race is. My next pick is also graded 3 stars, and it goes to the Bengals plus 10 points against the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, do you see what I'm seeing through the window behind me? That's right, we got snow for the first time this winter. We have many ingredients to an inflated point spread here. First, the Ravens received great publicity following an impressive win over the undefeated Patriots on primetime television. And secondly, the Bengals are starting a rookie at quarterback, Ryan Finley, a 4th-round pick out of NC State. Winning by 11 points or more on the road is a difficult task. The elements I just mentioned contributed to boosting the line. Winless teams coming off a bye week is one of my favorite betting angles in the NFL, and that applies here. Cincinnati has had plenty of time to rest and to game plan for the Ravens, and giving 2 weeks to the rookie QB to work with the first stringers was a smart move. Ryan Finley is 24 years old, so he's a more mature rookie. From the reports I've read, he looked bad during off-season practices, but he improved significantly during preseason games. He's considered a game manager. He's an accurate passer, but not explosive, and that's okay, because we want him to sustain long drives to keep Lamar Jackson off the field and running out the clock to shorten the game. Head coach Zach Taylor declared he expects star wide receiver AJ Green to make his debut against the Ravens. However, Green did not feel well enough to practice Wednesday, so he is questionable to play at this point. The Bengals will be looking for payback after dropping a week number 6 meeting against the Ravens by a 23-17 score earlier this year. Even if he plays, he might be rusty and he could be limited to a specific number of plays. However, he might still draw some attention from Baltimore's defense. I expect the crowd to fully support his team, despite a 0-8 record, considering they'll be excited to see their new QB at work, and also because they're facing divisional rivals against hated rivals. My next pick is rated 2 stars. I'm going with the Cowboys laying 3 points against the Vikings in what should be a pretty interesting Sunday night showdown. These two teams have similar records and a comparable point differential, so a point spread of 3 favoring the home team is not surprising. Adam Thielen's injury will make the Vikings more one-dimensional. The Cowboys will stack the line of scrimmage and dare Kirk Cousins to beat them. He looks good at times and bad at others. Without one of his top targets, I expect a long night for him. The Cowboys' defense is solid. With Thielen's absence, it will make it easier for them to stop Dalvin Cook. The Vikings' defense is also good, but facing a more well-balanced attack will create more problems for them. And in case you're wondering, Amari Cooper is expected to play despite being bothered by a knee injury. Dallas is losing 1 day of rest after playing the Monday Nighter against the Giants, but Minnesota will be on the road for the 3rd time over the past 4 weeks. Alright, my 4th and final tip of the week is actually an unofficial pick that I also like to call a lean. I'm going with the Tampa Bay Bucs minus 4.5 points against the Arizona Cards. Bruce Arians coached the Cards for 5 years and he will now face his former team. Do you think he'll be motivated to beat them? I think so. It has been 6 long weeks since the Bucs last played a game at home, so their players should be pumped. That was one of my arguments when I picked the Raiders last week, as they were in the same situation. It worked out well, so let's give it a try once again. The rest factor favors Arizona though, since they played last Thursday, so they benefit from 3 extra days of rest. However, they will be traveling through a couple of time zones to play an early Sunday game, so that will make things tougher for them. Tight end O.J. Howard is ready to roll according to his coach. The timing for his return could not be more perfect, as the Cards have allowed league highs in catches, receiving yards, and touchdowns to opposing tight ends. Arizona has beaten 3 teams this season. Do you know what those teams' combined record is? An abysmal 3-22. Meanwhile, the Bucs have beaten 2 teams, but those wins were far more impressive, at Carolina and at the Rams. Alright, so that's it for this week. Hey, did you know that I also provide some NHL picks? Those plays are actually based on 10 betting systems that I've developed by digging a data set covering 9 full seasons. Check out those videos and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you know it as soon as I release a new video with great betting tips. This is Professor MJ saying bye bye.